Welcome back to Vivid Earth, everyone. I've got the beloved Honeysea Golden back with me today to talk about all sorts of interesting topics. How are things on your side, honey?
Pretty good. It's been a little while, but it's pretty good. Yeah. I've noticed there's like there's a few angsty people again. Usually the people that you discovered were like scamming. I had one on Telegram, not Telegram, Rumble, and constantly, and they're probably watching this too now, but constantly putting in some Telegram channel where, it's
Some fake
crypto and
ones. Yeah.
private. And I'm like, ooh, scary, so I'm deleting them all and muting them forever and doing all this stuff, reporting them. And all of a sudden, every time I have a video come out, all the comments get like two thumbs down.
Oh, so they can't comment and now
Like
they just give
they're
a thumbs
hiding all
down.
the comments from other people because they couldn't think of a new name to be scammy with.
Oh dear. Well,
So
soon
funny stuff.
they're not going to be able to survive anymore, right? Because truth is rising. The sun is lighting everything up and their days are numbered. So let them have their last little bit of fun because they're about to lose their little fun game.
Oh, it's really interesting to watch. And that's like another timeline, you know. But they are busting in on each other sometimes.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to split apart. But I guess this is part of the process, this mastery of timelines and different realities that we're dealing with now. There's still a window open for people to jump on board in the higher
Mm.
timeline. It's not going to last forever, but it can be a painful process for those of us that have already chosen a higher timeline that is already awake and aware of all, the nature of reality and what we're living through right now. But it is frustrating, and we're still tiptoeing in 3D, 5D, in and out, and yeah. So I try and avoid, you know, the craziness as much as possible. I only go out when
Mhm.
I absolutely need to. Otherwise, I order things online. Of course, I still like to go out and, go into nature or, have tea at a nice hotel or restaurant, that kind of thing. But I avoid like crazy energy places as much as I can right now.
Yeah,
It's just,
me too. If we go to the grocery, which is rare, because we normally just get our food delivered. So there's different services in the US where your food just comes to you.
mm,
So I do that. And if we go into town, it's like in the morning, get it over with before the crowd comes in. You know, it's really interesting. Like my husband would leave the house at 7 if he could. If the stores were open, then he would go and get it over with just so that
be
he
the
didn't see
first one
anybody.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here by us, for some reason, the Europeans thinks this is now the best place to live. So they all have descended on our city in big hordes. So the traffic is just crazy. So yeah,
Oh,
I am not a fan of traffic jams. So I only leave the house when I need to, really need to.
you
And
probably want the sun.
yeah, and it is a very sort of clean environment in the sense there's a lightness here that I think Europe is not, especially Germany is very heavy and dark right now. People are having a hard time. The people who are
Mm.
not part of, I think everyone in general, but especially the people that are not in line with that sort of 3D matrix living anymore, and they're finding it really hard. People are unfriendly. They in a bad mood. The weather's crap. Lots of immigrants everywhere, and so we're finding, especially Germans and actually a lot of Russians as well, coming in, descending on our city, and a lot of um, nomads. So younger people who work online that just travel the world, and now they've discovered Cape Town and they're all descending on the city. And of course it's making it unaffordable for locals to,
Yeah.
the local people have to move out of their own city because they can't afford rent anymore because they want Airbnb now, their places now. So anyway,
Yeah, that's happening in a lot of places, and that will start to just, you
Mm,
know, but I do think Airbnb in general, just traveling around and doing that, it will become kind of the norm for a lot of people, but we will have a lot less people as well. So people have been asking, why is so much housing going up?
mm,
And it's part of the old agenda.
yeah.
So just being aware of that, and it will fall apart because there's a lot of stuff that's part of the old agenda that hasn't been addressed yet. And
Mhm.
it'll just take some time for that to be addressed. But there's going to be a lot of empty housing, especially depending on where you are. Like there will be cities where it grows, but a lot of people are going to want to live in the country. They're not going to want to
Mm,
live in the city, so they'll be
yeah.
outside the city. So it's things are going to shift a lot as NPCs disappear. The world is going to start to look a lot different.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. I tell you, when I was in Turkey in August, I couldn't believe the development going on there. I was sort of on the south coast in the Turkish Riviera, if you will. Just apartment buildings and hotels going up like it's no, like there's no tomorrow. It's just developers are just building more and more. It's crazy. And I'm seeing that now in Cape Town as well. Just new buildings like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just so many new developments. So the developers and their need for, their greed and they need to make money. It's like they hit and run. They put up a building, they sell it out, and they move on to the next one. And I'm just, when is this going to stop? And
Oh,
surely
it's
a lot
gonna
of these are going to
just
be empty.
collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And I'm just happy that we're not as, what I've seen in Alanya and Turkey, terrible. Like literally there's almost no nature left. At least in Cape Town, there's a lot of green areas and like nature reserves where you can't develop. So that's the one good
Yeah.
thing. But in the places that they can develop, it's just so populated now, just big apartment blocks and, everywhere. So I can't wait for the world to change where things will just be much more natural. We won't live in these high rise apartments and buildings and there'll be less people and less impact
Mhm.
on Gaia because you just see these earth movers going around and moving earth to build new developments. And it's just so tragic for Mother Gaia to be so abused.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even
That's gonna shift massively.
And I even saw somebody shared some pictures. Obviously Bali was a very popular destination. Well, it still is very popular destination, but at least now for, last 20 years or so, people were sharing videos and pictures of rubbish and plastic washing up in the surf. But you'll freak out when you see it. It's literally like a wave of rubbish, like it's full of rubbish. I don't know if it was just a specific place, but it's awful. People have just become so disconnected from the earth. And these are people that, Bali is supposed to be like a wellness, theme and people that are mindful. But now it's just become this party zone where people just, you know, they may do their yoga during the day, but then straight after they go out, they get high and they it's living this disconnected life of they think they are so evolved because they do yoga and plant journeys and all these other things. But then if you look at their lifestyle, it's just so messed up. And
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
just anyway, there's a bifurcation underway. So at some
There
point
is.
they're gonna have the choice either, to purify themselves and their lives and join a higher timeline, or they want to continue at a very sort of self-destructive timeline, which is what I think it is. These
Mhm.
kind of fake spiritualists that is they think it's cool to wear the beads and everything, but when you look at how they live, it's not, you
There's a
know,
lot of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've been seeing, I mean, the Schumann has been acting really crazy like this past week.
Yeah.
And there's been like a blackout that have moved. It's almost like a Mandela effect. It's like one
Mhm.
minute it was there, and then it's gone, and then it will reappear in another place. So it's super weird. And um, that Erin lady who really like specializes in, she does a Schumann resonance update up every day. She says she's never seen anything like it, and it's almost like there's like these non unnatural things that are stimulating the chart. I don't think it's
It's
negative, but it's
yeah,
super weird, and it's like
it is
timelines are a little
weird.
bit wonky.
Hmm. It's like accelerating a lot. And so the souls send information out, and usually it's going to be channeled through the sun.
Yeah.
But then we also have Atlas the being. We have Atlas the spaceship, then we have Atlas the being. And Atlas the being is bringing back new codes. And those codes are old, actually, like the original blueprint, but they're new to us. And as we let go of 3D, so a lot of people are purging. A lot of people went through like really big triggers and stress. And as you let go of things, then more of the codes can get in
Yeah.
because it's like, these are going to help us with longevity. They're going to help us with really utilizing energy that's not food. So 66, this is crazy too, and I just saw this. 66% of the energy that your body uses is from sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of it is from food. We don't need nearly as much food as we think we do. And a lot of
Yeah.
people are eating less. I know I've been doing a lot of fasting and stuff like that. I just started doing that. But we're just like in such a big transition, and really being willing to shift your lifestyle, like your habits.
Yeah.
That's really big right now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've definitely seen appetite and eating patterns change a lot. And I've just, I'm normally like, so I've got a plan. What are we going to have tonight for dinner? And, I always plan. Now I'm just like, whatever, we'll just eat whatever. I'm just not so focused on planning these like dinners anymore.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm finding that I want to eat less. We don't really eat at night even anymore. If we want to eat like 6 o'clock max, we don't eat after that. And it's like lighter food as well. We're craving lighter food now as well. It's like meat and is resonating less and less. Well, I only eat chicken. We only eat chicken actually, and fish. We don't eat red
Mm.
meat anymore. But even the chicken doesn't really resonate so well with the body anymore. So it's definitely going through a lot of changes. And we are beings of light. I mean, I there was a video that I shared on Telegram, and now I can't remember all the technical details, but we essentially beings of light.
Mhm.
That's how we function. So light is our primary food source for sure. And that's also
Yeah.
things like fruit. There's a lot of light in fruit. That's why fruit has
Yep.
become more important. And, we just have to follow the gentle nudges and we'll know what to do. Just listen to your
Mhm.
body, and your higher self will send you these gentle nudges. Like I've had these nudges to up my fruit intake, to eat a lot more fruits. And then I was guided to kind of start growing my nails a little bit
Okay.
because they like photonic receptors as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because I was thinking about, the ancient Indians and Chinese, they would always grow their nails in the old days. Even the men, they used to grow their nails. And I was like, I'm guided to just try that out. For a long time now, not wearing anything on my nails. 5 years ago, I would
Yeah.
have a gel manicure every 2, 3 weeks. And it's like, not, when I realized how toxic it was, It's like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. Or maybe
It's
that was
so
like six
bad.
years ago.
Yeah. You can get more natural nail polish, but I never put it on my hands. I'll put it on my toes.
Mm.
And, I get it from the apothecary and she makes it and it's pretty safe. But I never feel like I want to have anything on my hands because there's so much activity here. And, you're healing with them, you're receiving with them, there's just so much. You're
Hmm.
creating with them,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody actually said that when you point your finger, it's like an energy wand. So if you point your
It
finger to
is.
someone, you're actually sending something to them. And there was this
Mhm.
cat video that I saw. I like to occasionally watch these shorts with the funny cats on YouTube. It
Mhm.
just makes me smile. They're so cute. Um, and there was this video of people pointing fingers at their cats, and they absolutely hated it. It's like they would come and like bite them or like duck and dive every single time when
Yeah.
you point a finger at them. It's like the cats know that, that is a powerful wand that you're pointing at them. And what are
Mhm.
you directing towards them? They're like, no, no, no. That
Yeah,
doesn't
and
work.
usually it would be like, your parents pointing fingers when you're
Yeah,
a
like,
kid and creating little holes in your energetic field, probably
mm.
not
And
even
generally,
knowing
people,
it.
have you noticed people don't like you pointing a finger at them? It's like they get very offended. Why are you pointing
I
a
don't
finger
like
at
it.
me?
Yeah.
So it's like an instinctual thing as well. Like, no, don't do that.
Mhm. Yeah. Now, when I dance around, I go like this, which is an endless source of laughter for my husband. But yeah, but never pointing at people. And I don't know, I feel like we intuitively knew that for a long,
Yeah,
long time.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the dancing is really important, by the way. Just moving your body, some somatic movement, just, it's so important. I also was guided a couple of months ago to start moving my hips more, moving my body more, putting on some music and just, twisting the hips. And, in other cultures, that's a big thing because we tend to store things in our hips, right? So you
Yeah.
must make sure it's loose, it's open, it's moving, the energy is moving, because that's one of the areas energy can get trapped. And not only can it lead to disease and hip problems later in life, but also, you don't want to trap energy in your,
Mm-mm.
because we tend to like close our hips like this. Every now and again, when I go for a Thai massage, she like, stretches those hips open. I'm like, oh my goodness, I never thought I could stretch that far. But it's important, it's important to keep them open and clear.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of hip issues for people. I know I actually am working on one of mine right now because there's a fascia thing going on. And I think fascia is going to be a huge way that we heal because it releases and it's how your
Mm,
whole body is held together. But it's like they suppressed that for a really long time and now it's out and
mm,
people know about it. But if you think about the universe, I think there's a lot of fascia in the universe as well. And to
mm,
me, it appears like little tubes. So
mm,
that's how we travel. If you're in a body or in a ship that is physical, you travel through those little fascia tubes in
mm.
the universe. And it's really like trippy.
As with in, so without. So this
Mhm.
energy traveling through your fascia in your body and
Yeah.
your energy as well. So you can travel through the fascia of the universe. So
Yeah.
micro, macro, it's all the same. We
Mhm.
have a whole universe inside of our bodies, actually.
Yeah. We do. Everything is created to be very, very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
As within, so on the micro level, you'll see exactly what's on the macro level. Macro is galaxy level, micro level, cell level. It's all the
Mhm.
same. It's just a fractal of,
Yep.
um,
Even the
fascinating stuff.
cell is like a fractal too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a
Yeah.
little universe on its own. And
Hmm.
actually, a lot of people speak about the simulation now and the game on Earth, and I'm like, but where does the simulation actually end? I mean, what happens in the universe? Is any of the stuff real that we talk about? Whether it's planets or whether it's you as an, I don't know, Octurian commander of a spaceship, is any of that stuff actually real? Or are we making
It's
it all
all simulations.
just for an experience to
Yeah. What's real is your consciousness when you don't have a body and kind of floating around and doing things together. Like that's how it all comes together. That's how we create. And so there's another thing that happens in the universe with souls, and you can see it, and you can see it how it was banned here on Earth for a while, and especially in different religions, but dancing. So think about there was an elemental movie from Disney, and they had all these different kinds of elements, and they didn't look solid, these beings. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it. So if you guys know, then put it in the comments. But in the astral plane, you come together with your soul tribe and you dance and you create through sound. So when you hear thunder and when you hear things that are like big booms and stuff like that, a lot of times, that's the dance going on, right? And then you can see the weather is changing here. But when they outlawed ghost dancing from the American Indian, which they're the original people that were here. So when they outlawed ghost dancing, when they outlawed dancing in, churches outlawed dancing, they're outlawing creation.
mm-hmm,
So creation has to do with sound and energy and light and all of that. So it's a big part of creation.
mm-hmm. Yeah, just somatic movement and with the rhythm of the music, uh,
Mhm.
very, very strong, and it can transform you in a way as well. So yes, I can well imagine that there was a very distinct reason for banning dancing. Um, and we're rediscovering that, but a lot of Westerners are still shy to dance or to dance with other people, and that is for a reason. They feel
Yeah.
kind of, oh, somebody's looking at me, I'm not dancing, you know, cool enough or whatever. And they don't like dancing because they feel vulnerable, they feel exposed. And that is the very origin of how they create. So it's, it's been shamed in a lot
Yeah.
of Western cultures in a way. Um, and for a reason, as you said.
It's true. I remember, so my mom was always a great free dancer. Like she would
Mm.
just go dance by herself at a party and arms in the air, like going through the crowd.
She goes all in.
And yeah, and all of us kids, because there's three of us, we were like, uh-oh.
He's so embarrassed. Oh, there
And my
goes mom
brothers would
again.
just disappear. They would just like go hide somewhere because they were embarrassed because that was part of the program
Hmm.
to not be your wild self. You weren't allowed to do that.
Yeah,
Even though we were kids that grew up with hippies, I mean, we were hippies. So just really interesting
yeah,
how much that was put into the psyche. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Very interesting. Well, we're rediscovering that and learning not to be uh, self-conscious with dancing. I think it's very important. Somebody said to me also, she's very into awakening the divine feminine, and she sees women getting together in like sacred sites and dancing and moving, And it's true, that's how you
Yeah.
activate that kundalini energy in a way for the planet. And it's all prana, chi, energy, and the way that
Mhm.
energy builds up when you dance and move in a certain way, in a certain rhythm, is very potent. And that, as you said, is what creation is, how creation starts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
It's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. But it's one of the things that's going to be a big part of the creation energy that we do. Like it's going to be about art and music, dance, all the things that make us happy.
Yeah, bring joy.
Hmm.
Hmm. Now, just to go back to the simulation topic. So, if everything, sometimes one can think if everything is a simulation, then what's the point? Like, nothing is real, right? Why are we even doing this? But yes, it's for the experience and the development of consciousness, which is why we are here in the first place, in a way. And this simulation got hijacked, and we're here to bring it back on track and to elevate it back out of the lower densities, which is exciting. Now, a lot of people are called to kind of go to sacred sites, either to be activated or to activate the land or the ley lines or these sites. Do you think this can be a distraction for some, or it's really important that we focus on that right now?
I think it depends on the person's purpose. You can cleanse a site from a distance too.
Yeah.
So knowing that is also important. You can meditate with a site, like, if you were, let's say there's a site in Ireland that someone really feels drawn to, but you don't feel like it's a good time to travel, then meditate with the site. We're not actually separate from anything.
Exactly.
So we don't have to go to it. That's kind of a 3D.
It's a very human thing. We only
Yeah.
believe when we
Hmm.
see. So only when we're there do we believe we're connecting with the land. But as you said, in the quantum field, quantum entanglement allows you to access anything at a
Yeah.
distance, right here, right now.
Yeah. Now, if you want to travel, and I think we are going to do a lot of travel, then do it. The purpose of that will be to mingle with each other. And we will clean up different areas without even knowing it. But if you have something you're really called to do, I would just do it. You don't have to even leave your house.
Yeah. But I do think there's something in gathering, people gathering together, because it's
Hmm.
like the energy gets amplified. And yes, you
It
can do
does.
that obviously in a group meditation as well. But I think feeling somebody's energy field, and that those energy fields and overlapping, like each one's toroidal field overlapping with
Hmm.
the one next to him, it creates like an amplified energy wave, or you
Yeah.
know whatever you want to call it, that I think is also really important. So it's not just about mingling, it's really about amplifying the energy and getting together with somebody that's like on the same wavelength. It's like,
Hmm.
whoa, we just went through a portal into a new reality, and we just created this incredible energy wave. And yeah, I think that's very, very, it can be very activating for a lot of people. So at the
Yeah.
same time, energy hygiene, because you never know, sometimes you don't know everyone that you get together with. And you know at the same time, you also have got to protect your energy. But when you feel that there's a mutual exchange of beautiful, clean, vibrant energy, you can
Hmm.
create magic together, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we were still in what I would call the spiritual war, we were not seeing everything clearly online yet. And then we would meet people in person and be kind of like, what? What's going on here? Right? And now that that's been over for a while, we're not really getting a whole lot of surprises. When we meet people in person, it feels more exactly what you expected, you know? And even if you don't, it's not so far off that like you feel threatened or, you feel like your energy is going to get drained or whatever. But it's been really interesting now that we are meeting in person so often, like a lot of us are. It changes your perspective because the reason they kept us 6 feet apart was so that your energetic field would not touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they knew how important that was.
Hmm.
And there was two things going on there. One was an awakened person wouldn't awaken the next person as easily, but also you were forced to go within. So, that whole 2020 event worked in two ways. Like part of it was negative, and part of it was like really forcing people to wake up.
Yeah.
So, just so much has been going on. And I think the universe is orchestrating a lot of what we're doing here. And just to keep in flow is really important in this matrix because it's created, but not just by us. It's also created for the universe or from the universe for a purpose. And there's some really big souls that have a lot to do with what's going on Earth. And they may not have a body here, but they know how much this experience is affecting the universe. So they're going to make sure that it goes in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like everything negative they tried actually ended up into like a hidden blessing, like a blessing in disguise, just like,
Mhm.
the whole pandemic thing, which everyone thought it was terrible. Actually, we would have never had this mass awakening if it wasn't for that event.
Yeah.
When the world just stopped completely, we got a chance to think and focus. And, there was no rat race. You didn't have to, a lot of people didn't have to go to work or didn't work for a while. There was nothing to be distracted about. And they could actually just really, you know, go within. And I think a lot of us also, obviously, that was kind of the trigger point for a lot of us to wake up and say, okay, your mission is activated. Let's go. It's on. Um,
Yeah.
but also, being in person, the power of hugging and skin touching, very, very important as well.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just so much in that, right? So, yeah, we're going to be connecting more and more. And those that say, oh, I don't have anyone in my town. Well, you have all of us online at this point. Be patient. Everything will happen in divine timing. We will get together, all of us, just to connect, hug, move our energy together and create this beautiful magic that is the fuel for the new earth, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. The new platform that's free that I've created with a couple of other amazing people. And I didn't actually create the platform, I just joined up with it. But stepintoyourpower.com, you can find people in your area on that platform. So the bigger it gets, the more people you're going to find that are close to you that you could go talk to.
Yeah,
That's pretty great.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
those containers that bring people together, people must utilize. They're there for a reason. They're the bridge that's going to, bring us over to the next stage, which is the stage where we will get together. We will travel a lot. We will be able to experience all these things. And this time is like a gestation period for humanity. So don't be discouraged by it because it is also very important. You know, this human evolutionary process that we're going through right now is so important. And so the gestation period is just as important as, it's like before that butterflies emerging out of the chrysalis, it can't emerge from the chrysalis unless you're in that gestation stage.
Yeah.
And so people just have to embrace it and really just have to love being in their own company and be willing to face whatever stuff comes up, because that is the biggest thing. People can like bypass, and the egos will say, no, that's not happening. That person is just targeting you because this. No, you actually, your soul designed that scenario for you to learn to let go of certain things, whether it's unworthiness, whether it is victimhood, whatever it is. So learn the lesson and move on. Otherwise, it's just going to be on repeat. It's going to be like that song that you hate to hear on the radio, and it just keeps going. So if you don't want to hear the song anymore, listen, look closely, see it for what it is, learn the lesson, and let go. That's it. You can move on. So
Yeah.
yeah, the spirit is kind of important for us. But yeah, go for it.
No, I mean, I'm really grateful for this time period that we're in right now because it feels like we are collapsing the 3D. And as it collapses within us, then it's collapsing on the outside. And I was just talking to somebody the other day and saying, well, really wasn't that excited to actually be here for most of my life. And now I am, you
Mm,
know, and it doesn't mean I was dwelling on it and depressed and all that kind of stuff, but like it never felt like, oh, this is awesome, you
mm,
know? And now it feels that way. It feels like we've really gotten there and things are actually materializing. And it's because we've allowed ourselves to heal so much. And the ones that are in a different timeline, still healing, maybe they're in a different, they're at a different rate right now, but they're still doing it. And it's amazing. And as we heal faster and faster, they will heal faster and faster. So it's like an accordion. And, we're on one side of the accordion, and eventually they'll get there, and then we'll go forward, and then they'll get there. And the next, I would say 20 years are going to be massive, but we're in the window right now. So at the end of 2027, according to my higher self, which has been pretty consistent, could change, but that's when the ascension window closes. So we're basically going to see so much change over the next 14, 12, 14 months or whatever. So I guess it's December. So 13 months. So much change and so much progress. And then as everybody decides where they're going to be by the end of 2027, whether they're going to be in their body and ascend or be out of their body, because as soon as you go out of your body, you ascend. So everybody that's chosen to pass, they've ascended. But as soon as that is completely closed, that decision point, things are really going to take off. And I think a lot of stuff will take off before that. So, I mean, and I know you wanted to talk about the financial system, but I do think that is like really close.
yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely see a big shift very soon, but it doesn't mean that everything is going to change at once. There will
No,
be still a slow rollout, but that will be a definitive change from one system to the next.
yeah,
Um, and I do believe for like Nasara Jasara, it's part of that process as well, together with, peace agreements, peace on earth, and, redistribution of wealth and new technology coming out, all of these things. And they all have to kind of line up in a certain way for the financial system to shift. We just had the ISO 20022 come into place on Saturday, on the 22nd of November, which coincidentally is also a very interesting date because it's like 221. It's like basically triple two in a way, if you look at it that way.
yeah,
And so it's important sort of portal as well. But so now banks have to either comply or, they can't be part of the system anymore. So in a lot of ways, it's going to force a lot of things to the fore. So we're not looking at months. We're literally looking at, potentially even weeks. We don't want to put any
Yeah,
dates on there, but yeah.
I feel like it's going to speed up. And I think that's a bridge.
Yeah, of
That
course.
ISO 22, it's like a little bridge to the proper system,
Yeah, for sure.
which is also there already. Um, Another thing happened. There was a guy in Texas. I think he was in Texas. I don't know if you heard about him, but he basically, um, his wife had a baby. So they had a baby. He said, no, you're not allowed to take the placenta
Hmm.
or the cord. And they didn't take them, but they still created a straw man for that
Hmm.
child. And he took them to court
Mm. Yeah, I
and
think I've
won.
heard about it.
Yeah. So that's precedence. And I feel like that was arranged by the universe
Yeah,
to start to shift that because that has to shift. And also, the whole money system has to shift. And then what we were talking about earlier with all the construction and stuff, that's going to collapse the housing market.
yeah,
So when that happens, some of these places will only be half done.
yeah,
And eventually we will, and I feel like it's already happened, but when we go to our town, like there's not very many people. Even if you're in a prime time, you know, it should be busy. It's not as busy as it used to be. Now, if I'm with my husband, who doesn't really believe, like, he thinks there's going to be a lot of traffic. So it's like it's medium. But when I'm by myself, there's almost no one there.
hmm.
So it really is shifting a lot with traffic and different things like that. And that's NPCs just going. Um, if you have an NPC in your house or in your life, so say like a relative or a friend, and you don't really notice, we don't really notice that they're NPCs. I mean, most of us, but we could. Some of us have brought it up. Like, I feel like this person is an NPC in my life, but we're supporting them, we're keeping them going. And maybe you have 5 people in your family. Maybe you have a very awesome, awake, aware family, and a couple of your cousins are NPCs, and you're keeping them going. What's going to happen? How are they going to exit? They will probably exit by passing. Whereas the crowd, the people you're not connected to, they
Yeah.
can
The
just
hologram.
disappear.
It's like there's the hologram NPCs, and then there are the more,
Yeah,
tangible NPCs, if we can put it that way. The hologram, the
right,
crowds, you just see a crowd of people. At some point, is just going to be no crowds? Like,
right.
um,
Yeah, and I feel like some of that will be people, governments admitting that, oh, we don't have as many people as we said, or a lot of the population got wiped out during the pandemic,
yeah,
admitting certain things to people, but also it's going to be the choices that go on over the next 13 months. Do you want to be here or not? And as the NPCs disappear, we're also, I feel, coming up into first contact with
yeah.
ETs and interdimensionals. So it's not like we're going to be lonely. We'll have plenty
Yeah.
of beings to talk to, but
We're definitely
it,
not going to be lonely. This,
no.
you know, I don't think we'll be
Yeah.
lonely. And think actually Trump is apparently about to make an announcement also regarding ETs. I don't think that's happened yet, but I seem to remember that he's making an announcement on that soon. So that not that we need official announcements because we know they're there and they are going to start showing themselves more and more to individuals before they do to masses. But all that is coming and people are already being prepared. You know, the non-believers now believe, well, maybe there is something to there being ETs and UFOs and stuff, you know. And they're starting to kind of change their mind a little bit, accept the fact that they might have been wrong. So yeah, people are just being a lot more open to the subject in general.
Yeah. And that Disclosure movie came out.
Yes, the
And
age
I
of
guess it's,
disclosure.
yeah, I didn't watch it, but people said it's very, very dry. So it's like a teaching this
Mm-hmm.
person, it's very official and very dry.
It's for
And
the
yeah.
sleepers to kind of accept all of
Mhm.
this.
Yeah. Well, and some people are afraid of ETs too.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be. Like, we've gotten all of the ETs that were hassling humanity in the fourth density that were like doing things, and they're gone. That was part of what happened. I don't know. I mean, it really was pretty eradicated at the end of 2023, but it's continuously gotten cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Now, you can manifest something scary just like you can manifest NPCs.
Yeah.
So you want to remember that too.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't even go there. It's like,
Mm-mm.
and you know, this bifurcation is already happening. We are creating our own realities as we go along. And even with the financial system, that is happening as well. So I see some people, you know, in a lot of fear about digital IDs and all of that. And I'm just like, sorry, but that's not happening in my world. So if you want to give
Mm-mm.
that attention and energy, be my guest. I'm not going there. Don't send me anything regarding that because I don't want to even give it my attention. Now, do you think there will be like two realities playing out? There will be the people that are, you know, end up being controlled financially through CBDCs and or digital ID, and
No,
then there'll be us who are just, you know, open to newness, change. We don't see the new systems as dangerous. Others see it as dangerous, and there will be these two complete different realities playing out.
I think the world's already split. So the Dolores Cannon, idea of the two Earths, I think it already happened. Now, a lot of the fears, so think about this, all the trigger points that humanity has had are being brought to the surface right now to be transmuted out. So all the things that humanity thought about 3D are going to be up at the surface, like a cesspool, like, one of those cauldrons that the witches has, and there's all these bubbly, gross things at the top, right? So all of that scuzz has to be taken off and transmuted, and people need to say no to that. Now, some people will say no by protesting. Some people, and that means they're in a timeline where they're really truly awakening right now. And they will be like, we won. We're not doing this anymore. They, complied with us. The government gave in. But a lot of people, it's part of their decision making of whether they're going to be here or not. So there's all kinds of things going on at once. And we have a lot of different timelines. So, like, if you think of timelines as fingers, you have all these timelines. And when we're in these big decision points, they go like this, and they're banging into each other. And if you're healing up here, then you may drop to this one and then go back up because you had to drop into like a dark night of the soul for a little while so that you could let go of something that you didn't need anymore. So it really is like every single person is going through something slightly different than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And we just have to respect what the other one is going through, but
Mhm.
focus and be completely guided by your higher self and just stay on track, you know. Don't get swayed or influenced or whatever. Just follow your own guidance. You know, whatever your guidance is telling you, just keep on that path. Don't be in a panic to go and set up all these like, you know, crypto wallets and cold account. I mean, a lot of that stuff is good to do, but don't do it in fear and panic and think, you know, the government's out to get me. And I still see those people
Yeah.
occasionally.
Hmm. Oh, and the
And it,
government is disappearing, and that's who gets preyed on. Is if you're feeling like you need to do something from the attitude of fear, then at this point, it's probably going to get you in trouble,
yeah,
you know? So being careful and asking, do I need this? Is this in my highest good? Is this, especially with all the scammy stuff, because that really has popped up to the surface too.
yeah,
All of the like gross behavior is floating around right now.
yeah. And, you know, that really comes from a place of desperation. Somebody's like, well, you know, I was told about this investment scheme because they desperate. Don't be in that energetic space. You know, don't allow yourself because you create literally every second of the day. Like
Mhm.
I'm at this stage now, I haven't renewed my driver's license or my car license. And my frame of mind is I won't be stopped because I don't attract that. And I just won't. It's not a possibility in my reality. And so it's not going to happen. Or
Right.
some people are like, have all the security in their house and these alarm systems and beams and fencing. And I'm just like, that's not part of my reality. I don't care if we live in a dangerous town. I just don't attract that to me. And I don't give it any energy. Because as soon as you give it energy and you think about it, you almost visualize that person breaking into your house, you're actually willing that into reality. That is
Yeah.
how we create these unfortunate events for ourselves. Or like, oh, I'm going to be in an accident and, you know, people are crazy. The moment you start giving that fuel, you start creating these possibilities. We're constantly moving between different realities and we're constantly creating. So people need to start really realizing that and being extremely disciplined with what they lend their energy and their focus to, you know, not to be distracted by negative timelines.
Mm-mm. More now than ever
Yeah.
because everything's manifesting so much faster now because we are
Yes.
in the fifth density. Like that's why it's so easy to collapse the third density stuff because we've been the only ones holding it up, keeping it going. The energy doesn't actually support it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And we're living in incredible times. I think December is going to be extremely potent and pivotal. We're ending a 9 year cycle. We're in a number 9 year. And then we're also entering a new 12-year cycle of the galactic center. So it's all these cycles ending and beginning, but we're closing these things out. It's like all ending. And we have this opportunity to just really leave the old stuff behind. And we're going into several new cycles as of December, January. And
Mm.
that's extremely exciting. So we must use December as a month very wisely to let go of the last remnants of what needs to be let go of and really focus our intentions on what we want to bring in and how we want to start those new cycles. Um, yeah, potent stuff.
It is. It's really potent. And I really appreciate astrology more than I ever have before right
Mm,
now because it is such a beautiful map of what's going on. So, and I'm understanding it a bit better, but it's a map that's given to us for a reason. I mean, there's beings up there playing those roles and projecting that energy down to Earth, which is also a being, you
Hmm.
know? So, and they're probably related, right? That's probably her soul family. That's
Soul
probably her
group, yeah.
brothers and sisters, you know, and they're all in on this together, and it's their game that they're
Yeah.
playing, and we're in it as well. But it's really interesting how this stuff works. And if you can just let go of preconception about how we think that we're so small, then you realize that we actually are in control of everything that's happening with us.
Yeah. We're multidimensional beings. So this is just one aspect of us living out a reality that our soul wanted to learn from. But we are very large, multidimensional beings and souls. And I believe at some stage, when you really reach a certain ancient big soul status, you're at the point where you can create planets and stars yourself. And that is
Yeah.
why these beings are alive. Uh,
Mhm.
Poor Gaia has been through so much, but she's ready, she's awake, and she's tuned in now. And she's ready to ascend. She's ready to let go of stuff. I believe Atlas is here to assist in this process, modulate the energy, because we could have had a lot of earthquakes and, hectic global natural disasters and events. And I believe that it's kind of calming Gaia down so she can do her purging without having a devastating effect on humans on Earth. And I really appreciate, all the assistance that we have right now, for
Yeah.
our human form to complete this journey, this ascension, and actually we'll be the heroes of the universe when this is all said and done.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And humanity is a young soul group, but there's so many souls from other soul groups that are here with a human in a human body and doing such extraordinary work right now. So, I mean, if you're watching this, you're such a huge part of it. And don't forget to acknowledge yourself in the role of what we're doing, because it is changing the universe. And the universe has ascended, but we are in still in our ascension process, and 3D and 4D, those densities are going away. They're dissolved. So the eighth density actually was built, and we're not going back to that anymore. We're not doing polarity anymore. Source
Mm,
is done with polarity. So it's a
yeah,
beautiful time to be alive
yeah.
right now.
Just magical what we're moving into.
Yeah.
A little bit of discomfort, guys. Just, we are there. Take the 50,000-foot view. Don't take it all so personally. Just flow with the energy. Uh, we're about to step into an incredible time, and
Mhm.
all in divine timing. So don't ask us when exactly this is going to happen. It will happen in divine timing, and just trust
Yeah.
and believe that we are in that window now. So, yeah, beautiful future
Beautiful.
awaits.
Yay. I'm
Yay.
excited for all of it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what humanity does with everything, because we're actually creating the future right now. So
Yeah,
thinking about what you want to create is a huge help. It's huge.
absolutely. We're co-creating this together. So instead of
Mhm.
watching the burning buildings fall in the background, look forward and imagine what it is that, what does the place look like, the new earth? How's that going to function? Just dream
Yeah.
about that every day. Let's co-create the new. And that's how we anchor in this heaven state on earth where there's no more duality. It's happening every single day in increments. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks,
Thanks,
honey. That was
Anina.
that was really fun and
Yes, that was really fun.
hopefully helpful for everyone. And yeah, here we are at the end of the year. can't believe 2025 is over, but I think we're somewhat thankful. 2026 is a new cycle, and it's going to be
Mhm.
exciting. It's going to be the Star Trek future of humanity, the start of the Star Trek future of humanity. So
Yeah,
let's look forward to that.
definitely. I am. I'm excited. Go
Absolutely.
watch Star Trek, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will help you visualize New Earth.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you,
That's,
Anina.
thank you, honey. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.